In the fast-paced world we live in, success is often defined by external achievements, wealth, fame, status. We strive for validation from others, believing that recognition and applause will bring us fulfillment. But what happens when we reach the top and find that something is still missing? What happens when we sacrifice the very things that truly matter in pursuit of the dream, only to realize that we've lost sight of what's most important? This is the story of Jake Weston, a talented and driven young fashion designer whose quest for success and recognition led him down a path that would ultimately change his life forever. Jake had everything a young man in the fashion industry could want. At just 29, he was already being hailed as one of the most promising designers of his generation. His collections had been featured in local magazines, his name had appeared in top-tier fashion publications, and he had even caught the eye of several fashion critics. Yet despite all of this, something was missing. There was still an emptiness inside him, a feeling that no amount of success could fill. The approval of one person in particular was what Jake desired most. Clara Harris, the editor-in-chief of one of the most prestigious fashion magazines in the world. Clara Harris was a woman of power, influence, and unwavering standards. She had the ability to make or break the career of any designer. Her opinion was highly coveted, and her endorsement could launch a designer into the upper echelons of the fashion world. But Clara wasn't impressed by just anyone. She valued only true originality, innovation, and vision. She had seen it all: trends, fads, and countless designers trying to make a name for themselves. To her, it wasn't enough to simply be talented. A designer had to have something that set them apart, something truly unique. Jake knew his designs had the potential to impress Clara. He had poured his heart and soul into every collection, meticulously crafting each piece with care and precision. But no matter how hard he tried, Clara never took notice. He sent her invitations to his shows, delivered his latest collections to her office in person, and even tried to meet her at social events. But no matter what he did, Clara remained indifferent. It was as though she were blind to his efforts, as if his talent didn't matter at all. Jake's frustration grew with each passing day. He began to question his own abilities. Why wasn't he enough? What more could he do to get Clara's attention? He couldn't understand why his hard work, his talent, and his ambition didn't seem to matter to her. It was as though everything he had worked for was slipping through his fingers, just out of reach. In the midst of his pursuit of success, Jake's personal life began to suffer. His wife, Emma, had supported him from the very beginning. When they had first gotten married, she had been his biggest cheerleader, encouraging him to follow his dreams no matter what. But as time passed, Emma's patience began to wear thin. She had watched as Jake became more and more consumed by his career. The late nights at the studio, the constant travel to fashion shows, and the endless stream of emails and phone calls. Jake had become a stranger in his own home. Emma had tried to talk to him about it, but Jake was too focused on his work to listen. "I just need a little more time, Emma," he had told her. "I'm so close to breaking through. If I can just get that big break, everything will change. We'll have everything we've ever dreamed of." But Emma had grown tired of waiting. She missed the man she had married, the one who had once been so present in their lives. She missed the way he used to listen to her, the way they would laugh and talk for hours about everything and nothing. Now their conversations were few and far between, and when they did speak, it was always about work, about the next show, the next collection. Emma was no longer interested in being just a passive observer in Jake's life. She wanted to be part of it again. "You don't understand, Jake," Emma had said one evening, her voice tinged with sadness. "I'm not asking you to stop working. I'm asking you to be here, to be present. We need you, Jake. I need you." But Jake couldn't hear her. He was too focused on his ambition, too caught up in the idea that success would solve all of their problems. If he could just break through, if he could just get Clara's approval, everything would be fine. But Emma's words lingered in his mind, and deep down, he knew she was right. He was losing her, and yet, he couldn't stop. One day, after a particularly stressful week of deadlines and meetings, Jake went to the grocery store to pick up a few things. His mind was still consumed with thoughts of Clara and the upcoming show. But as he walked through the aisles of the store, he saw something that would shake him to his core. An elderly woman was standing at the checkout, struggling to pay for her groceries. She was fumbling through her purse, her hands trembling as she tried to find enough change. The line behind her grew longer, and people began to mutter in annoyance. Jake, who had been in a hurry to leave, couldn't help but let out an audible sigh. "Come on, lady," he muttered under his breath. "If you can't pay, don't hold up the line. Some of us have places to be." The elderly woman didn't respond. She simply continued to search through her purse, her face flushed with embarrassment. Jake's irritation grew, and without thinking, he snapped. "If you're too old to pay for your groceries, you should stay at home and let someone else go first. You're holding up the whole line." The woman didn't say a word. She merely handed the cashier the correct amount and quietly gathered her things. Jake watched her, still angry, but something nagged at him. He felt ashamed of his outburst, but he quickly dismissed it, telling himself that it didn't matter. It wasn't his problem, but the encounter stayed with him. Later that night, as he sat in his studio trying to focus on his work, he couldn't shake the image of the elderly woman. Her face, her quiet demeanor, her dignified silence, something about it tugged at him. He felt guilty for his harsh words, but he couldn't bring himself to acknowledge why. He had been so wrapped up in his own frustrations, so caught up in his own struggles, that he hadn't taken the time to truly see her. The next day, Jake returned to the store. He was tired, distracted, and still thinking about the woman from the day before. As he walked past the checkout, he saw her again. This time, however, she wasn't alone. A man, tall, confident, and well-dressed, was walking beside her. He smiled at her gently, offering her his arm as they walked out of the store together. The woman, now standing tall and composed, looked nothing like the frail, embarrassed figure Jake had seen the day before. As Jake watched them walk out of the store, a thought struck him. Who was this woman? She wasn't just some helpless elderly lady. She was someone with dignity, someone with a presence that commanded respect. Jake's curiosity got the best of him, and he followed them out into the parking lot. It was there, in the soft evening light, that Jake saw the truth. The woman who had seemed so frail and helpless at the checkout was none other than Clara Harris, the very woman he had been trying to impress for months. Clara, the editor-in-chief of the most prestigious fashion magazine in the world, had deliberately hidden her true identity, choosing to live a life away from the spotlight, away from the chaos and noise of the fashion world. Clara's choice to live quietly, to embrace the simple pleasures of life, left Jake in awe. He had spent months trying to earn her approval, trying to prove that he was worthy of her attention. But here she was, living her life on her own terms, with no need for anyone's approval. In that moment, Jake realized how wrong he had been. He had been so focused on his own success, so consumed by his desire for recognition, that he had failed to see the most important lessons that Clara's life had to offer. Clara turned to him, noticing Jake standing in the parking lot, and gave him a knowing smile. There was no anger, no resentment in her expression, only quiet understanding. "You know, Jake," Clara said softly, her voice filled with warmth, "sometimes we all get so caught up in the chase that we forget to appreciate the journey. Success is important, yes, but so is peace, so is balance." Jake stood there, stunned. Clara had known all along that he was chasing the wrong things, and now, in this quiet moment, she had shown him the truth. As Jake walked back to his car, he felt a profound shift within him. He had spent so much time chasing success that he had forgotten what truly mattered. It wasn't fame, it wasn't recognition. It was love, family, and the ability to find peace in the present moment. Weeks later, Jake made a decision that would change the course of his life. He began to prioritize the things that truly mattered: his wife, his children, and the simple joys of life. He stopped chasing Clara's approval and focused on becoming the best version of himself. And in doing so, he found success in a way he had never imagined. Personal reflection. This story serves as a powerful reminder that true success isn't measured by the accolades we receive, but by the relationships we nurture, the lives we touch, and the peace we find within ourselves. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more, to chase after the next big thing, but in the end, the things that matter most are often the ones that money can't buy. Love, connection, and inner peace. If this story has inspired you, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, Life Stories 365, for more heartwarming and life-changing tales. We believe in the power of stories to inspire, uplift, and transform, and we want to continue sharing these messages with you. Like, share, and comment below. We would love to hear your thoughts and how this story resonated with you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an inspiring story from our channel. Thank you for being part of Life Stories 365, where every story is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become the best version of ourselves.